Welcome, everybody, to Funeral Nation, episode 62. That's Jeff, the Funeral Commander Harbison. I'm Ryan Thogmartin. And Commander, you are you are back in your habitat today in the cigar shop, but what are you drinking?
Well, I decided that my libation I had earlier wasn't strong enough. So I'm trying a little Pierce A-OK, because it's cloudy out here and I need a little bit more color. But this stuff's pretty good. It's not bad.
Hey, check it out.
What are you drinking?
I got some Pierce NXT.
Wow, that sounds like almost like a golf ball.
Yeah, hey, listen, I don't always drink embalming fluid, but when I do,
it's Pierce. Cheers, boys. Wow. We've been blessed this week to also not only have great libation. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
That's right.
We have a title sponsor, Jamie and the boys. Let's roll his promo.
Hello, all you FNers. Jamie Meredith here with C&J Financial, American Funeral Financial, and Funeral Funding Center. We're stoked to bring you the Funeral Nation web show every single week. Guys, every day our office is bombarded with calls from funeral directors just like you all across the country who are just sick and tired of waiting weeks or sometimes months for payment on their insurance assignment cases. That is insane. There is a better way. Our group currently works with more than 3,000 funeral homes nationwide and funds more than 40,000 funerals annually. And we'd love to show you why so many of your colleagues use us to process and fund all of their insurance claims. Check us out at cjf.com, americanfuneralfinancial.com, and funeralfundingcenter.com today for more information. Remember, always be finer than split frog hair in 4 different directions.
All right, Mr. Commander, what do we got coming up on episode 62?
I'm really excited today because we're going to interview a real CPA, certified public accountant, about everyone's favorite subject. It's tax time. Our spot, yeah, how exciting is that?
Yeah.
If you think it's fun to talk about funerals, talk about your taxes. The spotlight's going to be in Oklahoma, and the WTF makes you take your eyes off the road. So
there you go.
What's the buzz out here, Ryan? What's the big deal?
You know what? I think it's hard to deny the buzz if we look nationally and across the U.S. is inauguration days today. So I don't know if that's good buzz, bad buzz, but it's a change for our country, and I guess the next 4 years will tell.
Well, I think I'm proud of what we do and who we are. We fought a little bit, came out. Now you shake hands and you follow.
Right.
It's a peaceful transition of power. That's what I do for a living. When we do succession planning or sell a funeral home, it's a peaceful transition of power. So
there you go.
You get to see it on display. It's not quite as pomp and circumstance unless I'm involved with it, but it's still quite a ceremony.
You're one of a kind. All right.
Don't tell anybody.
This week's buzz is sponsored by Pierce Chemical. Let's roll that promo.
There they are.
Pierce is the bomber's choice for fluids and over 1,800 different prep room supplies in stock. Visit us at piercechemical.com to learn more about Pierce.
Ryan, a question for you on our The More You Know Minute this week. This comes from Bill in California. Which is better, a meme, picture, or video for social?
It's a tough one. Depends on what the objective is. Video is going to get more reach organically, and it's going to get more shares. However, memes, given the amount of text on a meme, can be very viral as well. Overall, video is always going to perform long-term better than an image. But if you can't produce video, a meme that is in your niche and really speaks to your community and your audience is going to perform very well because it does have some of that viability in it and will get engagement because images are the next best engaging piece of content outside of video.
Got it. All right. Well, that's good. And I guess if people want to know more, they can reach out to you there at disruptmedia.co.
Disruptmedia.co. You got it.
All right. Well, I'm excited for our next segment coming up, which is our guest today, Mandy Rohde, who is the Director of Accounting. She's a CPA for the Foresight Companies. I guarantee you this will be the best tax conversation you'll see this year. Let's roll that video. Mandy, welcome, and thank you for being a guest on the Funeral Nation show.
Thank you for having me.
It's exciting. So please introduce yourself and a bit about your professional background and position at the Foresight Companies.
Well, I am a licensed CPA in Arizona. I have been for about 10 years. I've worked in public accounting and mostly with small businesses. So I'm familiar with small businesses and their owners and everything having to do with that. And I spent several years working on retirement plan administration as well. At Foresight, I'm the Director of Accounting Services. So I oversee all of our accounting clients and make sure that we're keeping them on track.
Well, I just have to say, as a friend and partner and having you on this show, that you make the CPA profession look good, because that's not what we expected.
Oh, well, thank you.
My pleasure. I just got to say that.
Hey, Mandy, it's 2016's in the books, and funeral homes are initiating tax preparation. What are some of the top items that owners should be paying attention to this tax season?
Well, a lot of people right now are talking about the new tax plan and everything that's happening in Congress. And that's great. And we should definitely know what's going on with that. But that's not going to take effect until 2017. So what we need to be doing is looking back at 2016 and make sure that there's any significant changes that we're aware of. So one of the big things is that there's been some filing due date changes for some entities. For example, C corporations and partnerships both have different due dates starting this year. C corporations previously were due on March 15th, and that's been changed to April 15th. So it's an extension for C corporations. But for partnerships that were previously due on April 15th, that's been changed to March 15th. So anybody that files a Form 1065 for a partnership needs to be a little bit ahead of their game this year, because they're not going to have quite as long to get their filing done.
Oh, so having that in mind, that's exciting. It's always great when you have tax news. Whoopee!
Everybody loves it.
Hey, yeah, but you put the T back in tax, so we're all good. I don't know what that meant, but it sounds cool. So what should funeral home owners be doing right now for their taxes?
Well, a lot of people will put off getting their stuff together until they're getting closer to the deadline. It's easy to put out of your mind. I think that the best thing to do is to start right now. Start gathering all of your year-end information. Don't wait to hear from your CPA to ask you for information. It's going to be easier to gather stuff now when you're getting your December loan statements and your December bank statements than 2 months from now when they're buried or filed or something like that. You want to focus on making sure that you have all of your year-end bank statements. Loan statements are particularly important. The CPA is going to want to make sure that they have all of the interest that you paid recorded. So you want to make sure that your statements show the interest that you paid for the entire year. You also want to make sure that you're making note of anything significant that happened during the year, any major purchases that you made, any disposal of assets that you may have had, also any ownership changes or any other complex transaction that you may have taken part in during the year. And additionally, get your information to your CPA sooner rather than later. As we get closer to the deadline, that just reduces the amount of time that we have to spend on every tax return. So if you want more time spent on your tax return, get your stuff in early. It's going to be easier on you, and it's going to be easier on us.
The early bird gets the worm every time.
That's right.
So, Mandy, why would a funeral home use a local accountant service versus a CPA firm like Foresight for their accounting services?
Most people find a CPA based on their prior relationships. Almost everybody knows somebody that's a CPA, right? So it's definitely easier to trust a friend with that information than it is somebody that you don't know. But you also want to look at it in a different respect. And the way that I kind of look at it is like doctors. You definitely go to your family doctor to get the routine stuff done. But if you find out you have a disease, you're going to go to a specialist in that disease. And it works kind of the same way with businesses. There's many, many CPAs out there that specialize in specific industries or maybe a couple industries. They know the ins and outs of the industry and they understand the different things that can be unique about it. So it's definitely a better idea to go with a CPA that understands the funeral business. Do they know the difference between a rough box and alternative container? Do they
Wow.
understand what a GPL is and how it affects your P&L and your bottom line? So I just think that you should, in anything that you're putting money into, you need to make sure that the people you work with understand your business.
Wow. Now, you just said a few things there. Do they understand the difference between a rock box and an alternative container? That kind of singing there. And then you get that GPL and P&L thing, and Lord have mercy. I know CPAs don't know that language. So you go, girl. So in closing, we are office mates. We work together.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered this. I never asked you. Why did you choose the office with the greatest distance between Dan, Isard, and I?
Well, you and Dan are down there together in the corner, and I figured since your egos were so big between you that we had to bust through into the next suite, that maybe I should stay as far away as possible. Plus, I get to have my own little domain over here. So
Egos. I am so I'm humbled by hearing that. So that's great.
right, of course, there's no ego in our office.
No, not whatsoever.
Speaking of our office, I thought there was no smoking in our office, but I don't recognize that wall behind you either.
All right. Well, Mandy, it was great to have you here today. We've enjoyed you. And certainly, if funeral home owners or other cemeterians need information on taxes, they need to reach you at the foresightcompanies.com. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Right. Don't get the fire extinguisher out. It's all good. Trust me. I'm following you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for having thanks for having us. Thanks for being on the show with us.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Another great interview segment. I mean, it's got to be one of the most entertaining conversations we ever had with a CPA, packed with great information. So this interview segment was brought to us by the great folks at Sitch Casket. We're super excited to have Sitch back involved again for 2017 with the Effin' Show. Let's roll that promo.
Funeral Nation is sponsored by Sitch Casket, importers of premium hardwood and fine metal caskets created exclusively for the North American marketplace. Is it a Sitch casket or one of the top U.S. brands? Only your accountant can tell the difference. Visit Sitch Casket or contact your Sitch distributor.
All right, Jeff, tell us what's coming up on our Effin' Spotlight on a Funeral Director.
As you know, we like to share positive stories and shine the spotlight on funeral directors and other professionals making a difference in their community and making our profession look good. This week, we shine the spotlight on Cheney Harkins Funeral Home in McAlester, Oklahoma. They also have two other firms in eastern Oklahoma. Steve and Ruth Harkins actually spend time giving up time for their community and roll their sleeves up. On one particular cold and windy Saturday morning, they put on their coats and went out and made their way to a local cemetery, and it had sustained some heavy damage to an ice storm earlier in the month. And the caretaker there organized a cleanup day. Well, when Steve and Ruth arrived, they were surprised to find that only one other resident in town had come to help. So the three of them worked all morning, clearing away fallen branches and collecting piles of leaves and pine needles. Afterward, the man turned to Steve and said, "If you care this much about the cemetery, that's all I need to know." And that turned into a relationship with that guy's family long term. So, you know what? It's not the big things that we do out here. Yes, we want to be social, we want to advertise, we want to give to the community, but it's the little things, and you never know when the smallest thing turns into the biggest. So our hats off to those folks, Steve and Ruth Harkins at Cheney Harkins Funeral Home in McAlester, Oklahoma. Thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Great spotlight segment. Today's spotlight on a funeral director is brought to us by our newly sponsored United Community Bank. Mr. Alan Mulligan is anxious to talk to you about your capital needs. We're going to have Mr. Mulligan on here in the next few weeks with a special message, but until then, let's roll that promo.
All right. Yeah, you need money out here to make this thing work. I swear you do.
Money's good. Money's good. All right, Mr. Commander, let's move into our WTF segment where we take a lighthearted look and a humorous look at our industry and give you something that FNers will be talking about on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I love this is literally probably one of my most favorite funeral ads I'm a little disappointed in the fact that this really isn't a real funeral home. This was kind of a media ploy, but golly, it creates so much buzz. It's genius. I wish a funeral home would do this.
Well, and the reason that we may have even talked about this before. Excuse me, that bombing fluid is pretty potent. Good God. Woo! Anyway, I think we want to issue a challenge. Who's going to take something like this and put it on Facebook or somewhere? I'm going to challenge my guys to do it. Why not? Let's see what happens. I dare you. I dare you to send this message out as a funeral home on social media and see what type of response you get.
Hey,
what do you think?
One of those things that it can open up a can and a good discussion about the hazards of texting while driving. There's nobody that knows better firsthand the effects of texting while driving. So this could do. It's a little bit of shock and awe with a great opportunity for funeral homes to give back to the community and provide some valuable knowledge and be a part of something that really can change and affect somebody's life.
I agree.
All right, WTF segment is sponsored by aftercare.com. Roll it.
Are you a funeral director who just can't find time to follow up with your families? We all know how important aftercare is, but meeting with families and running a funeral home doesn't leave much time for anything else. The Aftercare Card Program is an automated program that sends out 4 cards plus a survey to your families during the first year following a loss. You simply go to aftercare.com and enroll your family and you're done. It literally takes about a minute and the cost is only $20 per family. Visit aftercare.com today to learn more and get a free sample.
All right, so that wraps up episode 62, Commander, where your embalming fluid's about gone. Mine's down to the last few drops. I think it's gone to our heads a little bit. It's flammable, and you have a cigar, so that's genius. But, all right.
Hey, you know what? I heard this stuff also. This AOK was actually used on Elvis. So, you know me, I'm digging some suede shoes. I might put my blue suede shoes on this afternoon.
Shake your hips, make all the moms mad. All right.
Yes, sir. Woo-hoo!
What's coming up on 63?
Well, 63, I believe we're going to have Alan Mulligan. He's going to come on, and we're going to chat about him and a new sponsor. And he's really anxious to give you money, so that'll be important. We always have a WTF and a spotlight. So thank you, guys. And again, I dare you. Let me see you post something up like that with the text and drive. We'll see you later.
That's right. Until next time, have a great effing week.
Out here.